Hi everyone! Today I am going to show you how I use ChatGPT as a recruitment assistant. My name is Marian. I'm a headhunter and founder of My Teleteam. If you're a recruiter like me, then you know how time-consuming it is to go through a qualified resume and how painstakingly exhausting it is to repeat that process to tens of resumes at a time, especially if all of them are qualified. Thankfully, we now have ChatGPT and it can help you assess applications in a more objective and more efficient manner. If you're already using it, then good job. But if not, or if you want to but don't know how, then hopefully this video will help. So let's get started. So in this example, we are hiring for an HR assistant who can also be an executive assistant for the most part. And so this is the job description and it has a list of duties and responsibilities. Now, one crucial thing you must make sure of in order for this to work is that your job description should be very accurate and must reflect exactly what the person that you will hire will be doing. And as much as possible, do not just pull any generic job description online. Make it very specific to your company and what you need. All right. So obviously what we want to do is to assess how well our candidates match up to the job description, right? So for our sample candidate, I'll just go to my LinkedIn and download a PDF version of it, which is basically as good as a CV in itself. So now we have our job description and a sample candidate. I can now proceed to writing my ChatGPT prompt. So for this task, you must use ChatGPT 4 for this. This doesn't work well with GPT 3.5 because in general, GPT 3.5 does not really work well with any complex or multi-step prompt like what we're about to make. So here we go. All right, so ChatGPT 101, you always start by giving it some context. So we start our prompt with some information about the company in this case. Example, ABC Company is a company that specializes in providing remote staffing and virtual assistant support services to other businesses, and so on and so forth. And then the next part of the prompt is to still give it some more context. This time we tell ChatGPT what persona to embody and think as, and what it is trying to do. So, for example, you are the recruitment manager of ABC Company. You are looking for a full-time HR specialist, and this is the job description. Then you proceed to giving it the more context and provide the job description. So here is the job description. Our job description is this. So we already had this. You just copy and paste everything except about us section because we already gave it some information about the company and we just paste it here, but we put it inside quotation marks. So job description. So we put a signal here, job description. So ChatGPT knows it's the job description. And we put our job description here. Then I literally just copied and pasted the whole job description and put it inside the quotation marks that I've prepared there already. You can format the job description so it looks neat when pasted here, but just to show you how smart ChatGPT is, I will just paste it raw like this. At this point, ChatGPT already knows who it is supposed to respond as, how to think, and what it wants to do. At this point, you have an option to send this prompt already and ask ChatGPT to confirm its understanding before giving the next prompt. But for this video, I will just send one big mega prompt. And so now I just continue to give it more instructions on what I want it to do. Now, let's say we have applications coming in, right? I've downloaded a sample resume from LinkedIn and we're going to use ChatGPT to evaluate it based on our job description. So what I'm about to show you is super helpful because it helps us quickly and objectively assess if a candidate is a good fit for the role. So let me just go to our resume. So I simply Control A, Control C, and then Control A and Control C. And then, yeah, well, before I paste it, I will guide it and tell it that I will be giving it a candidate profile. And then I asked it to extract all the basic information first. It will now give you a candidate profile, extract all the basic information about the candidate, and these are the information I want you to extract basically. And then I guide it further on what to do by telling it to go back to the job description and study all the tasks in it, and then assess the candidate's profile based on the job description. And then I also ask it to assess whether there are any indication on their profile that could reflect on their ability to do each of the tasks in the job description. And then ask it to categorize the tasks in the job description into 3 lists. And these lists are these. So tasks that this candidate can for sure do based on their experience, and then tasks that they did not directly do, but might be able to do based on similar duties that they've done according to their CV, and then tasks that you're not sure they've done based on their experience, which means it's not clear in their resume whether they've done it or not. And so all right. So after that, I asked ChatGPT to very objectively calculate how much of these tasks in the job description can this candidate do based on their resume. And I labeled this measure as task match rating. I'm so bad at naming things. And so I just call it task match rating. You can name it anything else you want. So then based on the 3 tasks, count how many tasks there are in lists 1 and 2. Lists 1 and 2 are the tasks that this candidate are likely able to do. So then before I proceed, let me just reiterate here that, well, as you can see now, in order for this to work well, you must first have a very accurate job description that lists exactly what the person you're hiring is going to be doing. And then you must have a very detailed resume or CV. And this is why, as a recruiter myself, I sometimes take the time to ask candidates, especially those whom I think are a good match, to beef up their CVs with accurate details. So now let's continue. Sometimes a task match rating is enough to judge whether a candidate would be a good fit for the role. Well, as far as the technical things that you can tell from the CV, there are things that you will not be able to tell from a resume, right? But as far as technical things, a metric like task match rating, or maybe you have another metric that you're using, might be enough to judge whether the candidate can do the job or not. But because I like going the extra mile, I asked ChatGPT for this video to rate the candidate on another metric that I call here as experience match. This time, I asked it to rate the candidate on a scale of 1 to 5 on some criteria. So experience match on a scale of 1 to 5, with 3 meaning barely meeting requirements. Grade this applicant based on the criteria. So I provided a calibration on what the points mean, so it knows when to give a grade of 3 or when to give a grade of 1 or 5. And then I provided the criteria that I wanted to grade the candidate on for this experience match metric. So these are the criteria I wanted to grade the candidate on: HR admin experience, recruitment experience, and executive assistant experience. And then at the same time, I also ask it to explain the grades it gave by citing specific parts of the candidate's profile that justify its evaluation. So explain your grade and cite specific parts of their profile that justify your evaluation. And then provide an overall experience match grade on a scale of 1 to 5. Yeah, I ask it to provide an overall grade. So obviously you can just choose to do percentages, or maybe just do rating scales across the board, or maybe you just want one metric. In this case, we're doing 2. But for this tutorial, I just chose to demonstrate to you how ChatGPT can do anything you want it to do, any way you want it done when it comes to assessing candidates. Now, at this point, because we will be presenting these candidates to the hiring managers, right? We want our report to be as neat as possible. So instead of just bombarding hiring managers, we want to just give them a snapshot. So in this part of the prompt, I asked ChatGPT to summarize the candidate's profile. summarize the candidate's profile. And okay, when you do this, do not stop at a basic instruction like just summarize your evaluation or summarize the candidate's profile, because ChatGPT can get very shallow and generic too in its response when you give it a shallow and generic instruction. So you must always indicate that you want it to be incredibly nuanced or very specific about its observations about the candidate's profile, and have it cite specific parts of the candidate's experience that is relevant to the role. All right. So now we are finally ready to give ChatGPT the candidate's profile. So I signal ChatGPT that I am about to give it the candidate's profile by signaling it and naming this section the candidate. And then I prepare the space where I will paste the candidate's profile, which is 2 quotes, open and close quotes. And then I go to the PDF resume I downloaded and literally just select all, Control C, and then paste everything in here and closed in quotation marks. I don't even bother cleaning it. And as you can see, the information here seems all jumbled up, but as you will see later, ChatGPT is so smart, it can figure all that out. I scroll down to the very bottom and mark the end of the candidate's profile with a close quote. I now proceed to asking ChatGPT to write an email to the candidate, because that's what we typically do, right? After assessing a resume, we thank them and then acknowledge them for their application, and then ask them to provide some more information that are not in their application, like desired salary, availability, bandwidth, confirm their understanding about the contract type. And then I even ask ChatGPT to instruct the candidate to record a video introduction. So the prompt would look like this. See, afterwards, write an email to the candidate thanking them, ask them these questions, and then ask them to record a video introduction. And these are the instructions that you give them. Okay. So now let's see. Hit enter and watch the magic unfold. And here you go, ladies and gentlemen, my recruitment assistant analyzing this particular candidate. So it gave me the basic information, and then it did as I asked. It categorized the tasks in 3 categories or 3 lists. And it gives it a task match rating, which is 91.67%. And an experience match, as I asked it to do too, scale of 1 to 5. And an overall experience match grade, which I also asked it to do. And then here's your candidate summary, which is what you might present to your hiring managers. And then finally, an email to the candidate. So thank you. It has a subject. And then we would like to know more about you. And then additionally, would like you to record a video. And it looks okay. And to me now, this is ready to send. All right, and that's it. That's how I use ChatGPT as my recruitment assistant. If you have any questions, or if there's anything specific you want to see in the future videos, please write it in the comments below. And by the way, I am including the link to the ChatGPT prompt in the description box in case you want to copy it. If you think this video is useful, please give it a like. And if you want more tutorials like this, please click the subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video.